Hello everybody, today it's Monday the 1st of March and welcome to our second science lesson of this term. Our learning objective today is to be able to recognise that shadows are formed when light is blocked by a solid object. To be successful today, we need to be able to talk about different types of materials and how they have an effect on shadows. We are also going to record our findings today. Can you think back to last week's lesson and remind me of objects that we discussed were a source of light? Pause the video now and have a think. And here are a few examples of light sources. These are objects that emit light. Remember, there are some objects that look as though they emit light, such as the moon and mirrors, but remember, these reflect light instead. Does anybody think they know how shadows are created?
To see, we need light, and light comes from light sources. A light source might be a lamp, a candle, or the sun. Light travels away from a light source until it meets an object. When something blocks light travelling from a source, a shadow is made. When we block light travelling from a street lamp, we see our shadow on the pavement. The shadow gets longer the farther away from the light we get. If there's more than one lamp, we will have more than one shadow.
So now we know how shadows are created. Light travels away from a light source until it meets an object. The object blocks the light from travelling any further, and a shadow is made. Why do you think that some shadows are darker than others? The darkness of a shadow can depend on lots of things, but the aspect that we're going to focus on today is the type of material that the object is made of that is blocking the light source and creating the shadow. And there are three important words that we need to use today when we talk about this: translucent, transparent, and opaque. Let's talk about the word transparent. Now, transparent materials let light pass through them in straight lines so that you can see clearly through them. Glass is an example of a transparent material. Can you think of any more? Now let's focus on the word translucent. Translucent materials let some light through, but they scatter the light in all directions so that you can't see through them clearly. Not like you can transparent materials like glass. Tissue paper is an example of a translucent material. Can you think of any others? Finally, let's learn about the word opaque. Now, opaque materials do not let any light pass through them at all. They completely block the light. Wood is an example of an opaque material. Now, there are lots and lots of opaque materials out there. Can you make a quick list of the ones that you can see around your house? Do you think the following materials are transparent, translucent, or opaque? You've got water, cardboard, and frosted glass. Which do you think is which? Did you get them right? Water is transparent, cardboard is opaque, and frosted glass is translucent. Now, frosted glass can be a bit like the windows you have in your bathroom that have patterns on or are misted so that people can't see in. A shadow is made when an object blocks light. The shadow appears on the side of the object furthest from the light source. The object must be opaque or translucent to make a shadow. A transparent object, like glass, will not make any shadow, as light will pass straight through it. Opaque objects make darker shadows, and translucent objects make faint shadows. Your independent task today is an investigation. You need to investigate which materials in your home are transparent, translucent, or opaque. Remember, it's important to think of the material, not just the object that you've chosen. If you use a book, what material is the book made of? If you choose a toy, what material is the toy made of? Is it cloth? Is it plastic? Is it metal? Is it wood? You will need a light source to test this to create your shadow. This can be a torch. You might have one on your phone, or you might have one in the cupboard, or if the weather is nice outside, you can use the sun as your light source. You can use the table attached to the daily email today to print off and write on, type on, or use it to create your own. There are 4 columns. You have your first column which says your light source that you've used, and there you can write the torch or the sun. Your second column is where you need to write the object that you are testing. The third column is where you write the material of your object. And the final column is where you write if the material is opaque, translucent or transparent. You need to test a minimum of 7 objects today and record your findings. Hi everyone, I'm just going to model how I would undertake today's science investigation. So I've got my light source. I'm going to use the torch on my phone today to help me. I've picked my object, it's a pig, but what I need to do is think about what material my object is made of. Now I know it's got this little tail here, but predominantly my object's made of wood. So I've got my light source, my object, the material, and now I need to decide if my wooden pig is opaque, translucent or transparent. So I'm going to put my pig here, I'm going to get my torch ready, and I'm going to shine it at my pig and see if it blocks my light source, if it blocks my torch. If it does, we'll be able to see a shadow here on the table. If it doesn't, we won't see a shadow. Remember, if it's translucent, we might see quite a light shadow. If it's opaque, we're going to see a really dark shadow. Okay, are you ready? Oh, look, here. I've got my shadow of my pig on my table. I'd say that's quite a dark shadow. So now I know that my wooden pig, my material that's wood, is, you got it, it's opaque. So that's what I would record on my table. I would write, my light source is my torch, my object is my pig, it's made of wood and it's opaque. Look how cool this is. I look forward to seeing what you find out. Please remember to share it with us. We'd love to see your findings today. Well done everyone, and I'll see you next week for some more science. Bye.